Guys, finally got a Glock 44 22 LR in my hands. Let's get into the video. First off, it has been a great year if you are a rimfire rat like I am. A lot of companies have introduced 22 LRs for the first time. Some of them companies have made improvements. Some companies have come out with different models, but no one actually saw the Glock 44 coming. Unless you've lived under a rock, this is the Glock 44. It is their first 22 ever to come to market. This is a mimic of the Glock 19 Gen 5. There are some pros and there are some cons to this handgun. I've bought this guy probably about 4 or 5 days ago. At this point, I have about 800 to 900 rounds through it. And there are a few issues that we need to address. But before we go any farther, let's go over some of the features on the Glock 44. I already mentioned that it is a clone to the Glock 19. So if you have a Glock 19 and you pick this guy up, the only difference you'll really feel on this handgun is the weight. It's extremely light. With the magazine in it, unloaded, it's still under a pound. It's like 15 ounces. It does come with some extra back straps. It comes with two 10-round magazines, and we're going to discuss those here further. It does operate on a blowback design, and it takes apart just like a regular Glock. The rear sight is adjustable for windage and elevation, and it does have serrations on the front and also on the rear. It does have your rail right here on the bottom in standard Glock fashion, so you can mount a laser, a flashlight, or even a kitty cat. The mag well is flared, and you do have a slide release on both sides of the firearm. One cool thing about the firearm is they made the slide out of polymer. Now it's not totally out of polymer. All right, the firearm is unloaded. All right, so we are going to take this thing apart. And if you look, I'm gonna get some close-up shots, but right inside of here, it's metal, okay? So these metal rails allow it to slide on this handgun. Now, if they had made those rails out of polymer over time, you know, the firearm would not function. And not only that, if they made all the slide out of polymer, the firearm would go kabooey. And if they had made it all out of aluminum or steel, the slide would have been way too heavy, and at that point, the firearm would not function. So basically what you have here is a ultralight Glock 19 that shoots 22 LR. Now that we went over some of the features on the handgun, let's go over some of the pros and some of the cons. All right, first, let's start with some of the cons. Got the Glock 44 here, and I have loaded up here 36 grain high velocity Federal Champion ammunition. I run this ammunition through probably 95% of my firearms. The only firearms I do not run this ammunition through are my match barrel 22s. So any kind of semi-automatic, bolt action lever guns, I run this ammo through. This is my go-to test ammunition. If a firearm will cycle this ammunition, in my opinion, it is reliable. So I've got it loaded up here, and let's do some shooting. Click. All right, I knew this was going to happen. So I believe it is a light primer strike. So let me find this round. Yes, right here it is. It is a extremely light primer strike. I'll put that in my pocket and show you guys later. Okay, got a few more rounds here loaded up. Okay. Only one malfunction in that magazine. Same 36 grain ammo. Click. Wow, it's kind of even out of battery a little bit. All right, failure to eject. All right, so it shot that round, but it failed to eject that casing. All right, that was actually pretty good. In my testing, usually I was getting 2 to 3 malfunctions with 36 grain ammo. I've tried other 36 grain ammo. It does the exact same thing. For some reason, This firearm does not like 36 grain ammo. You're probably saying to yourself, Plinkster, that's really no big deal, just buy 40 grain ammo. Well, you're exactly right. You can buy 40 grain ammo. But the whole point to me for a gun, just to put a lot of ammo through, you know, downrange for a trainer, is that it will shoot 36 grain bulk ammo reliably. I've got firearms that will eat that stuff up and never miss a beat. But for some reason, the Glock 44 does not like 36 grain ammo. All right, now I have loaded up some 38 grain Federal ammunition, traveling at about 1,260 feet per second. Let's see how this cycles. Okay, ran through that just fine. There's another magazine of the 38 grainers. Okay, it did not lock back on the last shot, but that's okay. It ate the 38 grainers just fine. All right, I already know the answer to this, but I have some CCI standard velocity ammo. This ammo is a 40 grain lead projectile traveling at 1,070 feet per second. Now it's traveling much slower out of a pistol, of course. That's out of a test barrel out of a rifle. So this ammo is probably traveling, I would guess, probably about 950, 940 feet per second. Let's see if the CCI standard velocity, much slower than the 40 grain and the 38 grain that I was shooting earlier. All right, let's just go right here on the silhouette. All right, not a problem, ran it fine. Run CCI standard velocity like a top. All right, I have a couple magazines loaded up of some CCI Stangers, and you're probably thinking to yourself, if you just stumbled onto this video and you've never watched any of my videos before, they're like, what kind of rock did this guy just climb out from under? They're called Stingers, not Stangers. Well, actually, they are called Stangers. I have my own ammunition with CCI now, and we have labeled it CCI Stangers. Let's see what the Stanger will do. CCI Stinger / Stangers are 32 grain projectiles traveling at 1,640 feet per second out of a rifle. These guys are moving. And they are loud. Got earplugs in. A lot of you guys ask all the time, why don't you wear hearing protection? There are earplugs in here, and they're doing just fine. All right, ran the Stangers like a top. All right, now let's just get into the nitty gritty of the video. I showed you what the pistol will shoot, and I showed you what it will not shoot. I've tried multiple 36 grain ammunition from multiple companies, and this pistol has a problem with all of them. And like I mentioned before, you probably said to yourself, well, just buy 40 grainers. Well, yes, you can just buy 40 grainers. The problem with that is most people buy this pistol to train with, and in doing so, they want to, get the cheapest route. They want to go to Walmart or Academy or anywhere and get a bulk box of ammunition. It's cheap. It's usually around 3 to 3.5 cents a round, and shoot all day with little to no problem. They don't want to spend the 6 or 7 cents a round for mini mags or your other higher quality ammunition. They want to keep it as cheap as possible. I think if this firearm cycled bulk ammo well, I would give it a little bit better, it'd be a little bit better in my mind, but it doesn't. I think I've shot probably 300 to 400 rounds of bulk ammo through this, and I've literally had 50 to 60 malfunctions. So I've tried different boxes and, like I said, different name brands of ammunition. It's all done the same. Another negative thing about the pistol that I have found that this pistol will not shoot point of aim. No matter how hard I try it. The sights are fully adjustable for windage and elevation. I can get the windage fine, okay, that's not a problem, but I cannot get the elevation correct. I've got the sight bottomed all the way down, and I'm still shooting about 3.5 to 4 inches high on steel out here at 45 feet. You're probably saying to yourself, well, you don't know how to shoot a Glock, you don't know how to have, proper Glock alignment, sight picture alignment. Yes, I do. I own 4 Glocks. Actually, this is my 5th Glock. I've been shooting Glocks since, the early 90s. actually the first semi-automatic pistol that I ever shot, center fire anyways, was my dad's Glock 17. It's got a 3-digit serial number. So I was raised with a Glock in my hand. So, you know, I know how to shoot Glocks. You know, I own several of them. That's not the problem. This pistol will not shoot point of aim. No matter how I adjust the sights, it always shoots about 4 inches high, 3.5 to 4 inches high at 45 feet. I don't like that. I like to put my front sight dead onto the target, not at a 6 o'clock position. Another thing that we need to discuss is the magazine, okay? They're 10-round magazines, and I know that Glock will probably come out with 15-round magazines. At the time of me making this video, there are no 15-round magazines for this, this firearm, but 10 rounds is what you get. It does have little assist on both sides, help you pull the follower down. It makes for easy loading. The bad part about this magazine is this. Say for instance, regular Ruger magazines, if you ever loaded a Ruger magazine, like a Mark 1, 2, 3, or 4, you can load that magazine, you know, while talking. You don't even have to look at the magazine, and you know that each one of those rounds will be canted correctly by the last round. However, this one, the last 2 or 3 rounds, once you place them into the magazine, you have to keep an eye on them. I was constantly, after the 7th, 8th, 9th, and even the 10th round, having to jiggle the rounds around to keep the cant correctly, because what was happening is that cant of that bullet would eventually go away and it would be almost straight across. And when you go to charge the firearm, it will lodge on the bottom of the ramp and will not feed into the firearm. That's probably happened to me 6 or 7 times off of video. It does look like a well-made firearm, and it is accurate. Even though it will not shoot point of aim for me, I can shoot a really small group with it at 40 feet. The accuracy is there. I just wished I could put my point of aim and use a dead-on hold. The accuracy is there. I cannot say anything bad about the accuracy. All right, this is where I'm going to start getting pretty critical of this pistol, okay? This pistol will sell. This pistol will sell very well, and it's going to sell very well to Glock fanboys, all right? Before you go any farther, before you're screaming at your computer screen or your cellular device, fanboy, I am not using that term as a derogatory term. I am a fanboy, okay, of certain products. I'm a fanboy of H&K firearms. I have been ever since I was a teenager. Are they the best firearms in the world? No, because the word best is subjective, okay? I'm just a fanboy of their products. I'm a fanboy of Toyota trucks. Are Toyota trucks the best trucks on the road? Yes, they are. But the Glock 44, in my opinion, Glock has overpriced this handgun. Now, as of right now, you cannot get a threaded model of the Glock 44. You can buy a threaded barrel for the Glock 44, but if you spend $420, $430 out the door for this handgun, and you go on a website such as Brownell's or Glock's website, the barrels are ranging between $155 and almost $200. So you're going to have $600 on a threaded version of the Glock 44. That's just crazy. It's crazy because there are a lot of different options out there. Now, if you own a Glock 19, this is a perfect trainer gun. However, if you're looking for a battle style or a combat style plinker and you don't want to go with a target pistol such as a Ruger Mark 1, 2, 3, or 4, Browning Buckmark, a Smith & Wesson Victory, you don't want to buy a match 22 pistol such as a Vakortzen or Smith & Wesson Model 41 or an Olympic style pistol, you want just a plinker to train with to get trigger time. The trigger on this feels just like a Glock trigger. It's mushy. It feels just like the same. So this would be a great training tool if you own a Glock 19. However, I think it's overpriced. And especially if you want a threaded variation of this handgun, you have to buy the barrel separate. At the time of me making this video, there are way better options out there. You're probably saying to yourself, well, what are those options? Well, Taurus TX22. It's like $300. It holds 16 rounds and it's threaded. It will cycle bulk ammo. It will cycle high velocity, low velocity, standard velocity. That pistol will eat anything and everything. Smith & Wesson M&P 22. You know, you've got SR 22. You know, you got the Walther PPQ M2. You got the Beretta 92. All of those firearms are cheaper than this guy, and they're threaded, and they will eat everything that you put through them. Now, again, if you have a Glock 19 and you want to train with this handgun, just make sure you put good quality ammunition through it. It likes hot ammunition. You know, you will not be able to put bulk ammo through this firearm and be 100% satisfied. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. That's just my opinion on the Glock 44. Am I going to keep this firearm? No, I'm not. I'm actually going to sell it. I already got a friend of mine that wants it. I told him I would sell it to him for what I have in it after I put 700-800 rounds through it at this point. But he wants it. I can use $429 to buy something that, in my opinion, is going to be a little bit more reliable and that I can shoot it a little bit better. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments below. Go over to my Facebook, Instagram pages, or Twitter pages and ask those questions there. And until next time, y'all be safe and keep plinking.